Imagine this. You have just won $10 million. You have just eaten the most delicious chicken wings that have ever been cooked. You have just had sex. And you have just done all three at the same time. Congratulations, lucky person. In these situations, our brain produces some chemicals called neurotransmitters, which give us this great feeling of happiness, energy, and pleasure. And without such chemicals, we couldn't enjoy the happy moments in our lives. This is what happened to people with depression. They have a lack of neurotransmitters because their brain isn't working well.
So instead, imagine this. Your chicken wing fell on the floor. You are about to do a physics exam. You are preparing a TED talk. In this situation, our brain instead produces different chemicals, making us feel stressed and anxious. About the last one, about preparing a TED talk, we created a complex graphic that shows how these chemicals work on us during this experience. Have you understand it? But something important here is that we want you to focus on the part of unhealthy snacks and its consequences. Have you ever thought about why we eat food when we get anxious?
So, to explain this, we have to start from the most basic thing. About 2 million years ago, when the man depended on himself, if he had to fight a lion, his brain released adrenaline. And his options were to run or to fight. But he was not going to live from there without sweating. With physical activities, the adrenaline and stress levels drop. This is why people recommend to do exercise. The problem is that nowadays, the world is full of imaginary lions that we can run or fight. So the adrenaline remains in our body by increasing our blood pressure, causing headaches, and getting us in a bad mood.
Now, what is the relation between this and eating when you get anxious? Well, the easy way to drop down adrenaline at home is to eat just like when you ate the chicken wing and you felt good. The thing is the lion is still there. We not face the problem, so you are decreasing chemicals in your head by eating. However, the stress will remain until you truly find a way to treat the problem.
The microbiologist Brady Robertson has an interesting theory. He says that we have an organ which controls as much of our physical and mental functions as the brain in our heads. Basically, he says that we have a second brain and is in our belly. Does it make sense? Because I think it doesn't, so I'll let Catalina explain.
This one is complex as the brain we all know. Robinson says that in here we have a whole ecosystem as diverse as the Amazon rainforest, the microbiome, and surprisingly, 90% of the cells in our body are bacterial cells, and only 10% are human cells. If you think about it, we are more bacterial than human. Curiously, we have underestimated this microbiome, and believe it or not, the health of these bacteria can influence the risk of obesity, diabetes, and even Alzheimer's.
Okay, so we have the reason why we eat more during pandemics, and the reason to pay attention to our stomach. Now we have some solutions.
See, we think that the perfect way to evolve is to have clear the things that you want to introduce in your life. And for that, it's necessary to make a list and then transform the things in it into a habit. We want to know how to avoid obesity and at home, so here's a list of changes.
Okay, the first thing is to have a good sleep. Easy, isn't it? But hey, 8 hours minimum. It is confirmed that as we all fall asleep, our digestive system makes hormones called leptin and ghrelin. The first one reduces hunger, and the second stimulates it. If we don't get enough sleep, the balance of these hormones could be affected, which explains why people with insomnia have problems with their appetite. So worry about your sleep.
Okay, you got it. And after an exhausting sleep, you wake up dehydrated. Yeah, only with the sleeping you lose a lot of water. So the next step is drink water. Very easy. Nevertheless, remember worry about drinking water.
This one can be more difficult for some of you. Stop using social networks. This one is related to mindfulness. When we talk about the invisible lions, we were referring to the problems that you see but can't do nothing to solve them. This happens a lot with social networks. Yeah, it's true that they have a lot of things that can benefit us, so maybe we are over demanding with this one, but at least reduce the time you pass through them. Worry about your mental health. Así.
For some of you, this can be old or new habit, but for some others, it is difficult to do. The only thing we are sure is that it is important for everyone. Do some exercise. Not necessarily the same routine for The Rock or Cristiano Ronaldo, but anything that you can do to take you back out of the seat can help, like playing tennis, swimming, or at least taking a daily walk of 1 hour. But worry about your physical health.
And last but not least, get a good diet. We don't have to give a scientific explanation to tell you why this can help you with obesity. Just worry about your second brain. And as a trick for beginners, take 6 days to have control over the food that you eat, and then a day of disorder, when you can eat whatever you want.
So this is the idea we want to share with you, because we know that during the pandemic, maybe in an upper or lower level, you have passed through this. If you want to change the way you behave, you can just expect destiny to make magic. Every change is difficult, and in the beginning of every change, you will feel that you are swimming against the river's flow. But the price will make the effort worth it. And remember, it's not for others, it's for you. Worry about yourself first. Thanks for your attention.